We now welcome in four-time NBA vet, or four-year NBA vet, and the 2011 National College Player of the Year, Jimmer Fredette. Jimmer, welcome back to BYU Sports Nation, man.
Jarom, how are you?
I am good. We're here with Brian Logan as well. I joked with you last night at Kyle Collinsworth's reception that we've been calling you Jameer here on the show for a while since we talked to a guy at the Times-Picayune. What do you think of Jameer?
Hey, someone has that name in the NBA already, so I'm trying to be unique. And, let's keep it Jimmer, I guess, for right now. But, I pretty much answer to anything. So if you want to call me, that's fine.
Have you ever thought of any nicknames? Have any of your teammates give you any nicknames?
Well, yeah, the guys at BYU did. Brandon and Charles gave me a nickname. They called me Blizz, and it's short for Blizzard. And the reason is because I'm very pasty white, first of all, my complexion. But the second thing is that, I used to come at people like a blizzard, they said, on the basketball court. So that's kind of a double meaning name. They still call me it.
Nice.
Of course, the ball wizard came out in those commercials as well, right?
Yeah, that's true. They didn't really ever call me that, though.
Last night was a sort of BYU basketball reunion at Kyle Collinsworth's reception. You mentioned, Charles Abua, Brandon Davies, a lot of the current guys. What was it like to hang out with those guys again?
Oh, it's so great to see all those guys. I mean, they're some of my best friends that I've had and still have, and I keep in contact with them every single day and talk with those guys and see how they're doing. And I saw Chris Collinsworth and, Tyler Haws was there and just the new guys that are there. So kind of the whole BYU basketball family, for the last 10 years, have kind of rolled through this week. So it's been cool to be able to see everybody.
Jimmer, do you hear similar stories from your teammates in the NBA when it comes to their relationships with their college teammates?
Yeah, definitely. The guys in the NBA definitely have pretty good relationship with their college guys, and sometimes in the NBA you don't get as good relationship with guys. You're kind of off on your own a little bit more. But when you're in college, it's like a family. You're with each other all the time. You eat together. You're always on bus rides and planes together, and you go through a lot of experience. You guys live together most of the time, so it's definitely a different camaraderie when you're in college. And I talked to my NBA guys about it, and it's definitely not the same.
James Taft Fredette is on BYU Sports Nation. Outside the building here, we feel and see and hear a lot of construction going on, which is very exciting. The Marriott Center Annex. Some pre-construction underway. What involvement did you have in helping to kind of get that going and get that made? Unfortunately, a few years after you graduate, but at least it's happening.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll still use it just as much as those guys do. That's for sure. I'll come back in the summer and use it. I'll make sure to get my fill. But no, I mean, I didn't do a ton, to be honest, but definitely Brian Santiago had me go with him and talk to some sponsors and some boosters of BYU, and just to talk about my experience at BYU and kind of why we need a practice facility and how it could help us move into the next step as a program. And if you want to be a big-time program, you got to have big-time facilities, and I think this is the first step to do that. So I think they've done a great job with it.
How will it translate into the next level, you think?
I think it can. I mean, when you have recruits coming in to look at these schools, they want to see the facilities. I mean, that's what I looked at when I was younger. I wanted to see if they had a nice practice facility and, what kind of arena they were in and what the locker rooms looked like. And, obviously they've redone all that since I've been here. So when those big-time recruits come in, they want to see that type of stuff. So now that we have these new facilities coming, it definitely can help in the recruiting process.
Jimmer Fredette is on BYU Sports Nation. Tyler Haws, obviously in the news, hoping to be drafted next week. What kind of conversation or advice have you given him related to his NBA aspirations?
I just told him to work hard and be him. Don't try to do anything out of the ordinary. Tyler's such a hardworking kid, and he can shoot the basketball. He's a competitive kid. So I said, just be yourself on those workouts. That's what they want you to do. They want to see you for you. And go out there and control what you can control. So work as hard as you can, have a good attitude, support the guys that you're going against, but also try to beat them. You're the competitive spirit are what these guys are looking for in these workouts, and he definitely has that.
Jimmer, do you see Tyler being on a roster this year?
I hope so. I think he has the skill set to be on a NBA team this year for sure. And I'd love to see him in the NBA, and I'd love to be able to play against him and see him, whether it's on his team or against them. So I'd love to see him in the NBA, and I think he has the skills and tools to be able to be on a roster this year. So sometimes it just depends on if you get drafted and then where you go and what kind of timing it is and who's on the roster and who the coach is. So a lot of things that go into it, but I think he has talent enough.
And recently, BYU's proven that you can go undrafted and still play in the league. Brandon Davies, a great example of that, had about a season and a half in the league, undrafted, which is pretty good. Jimmer, what's in store for you? Jimmer, what's in store for you next season?
I'm excited to see. I've been, talking with different teams, and my agent's been out there talking with different teams, and, we'll find out sometime probably in mid to late July, where I'll be landing, or, we'll just find out sometime after July 1st. And that's when the first, official free agency period starts. And so I'm excited. There's teams that we're talking to, and I'm just trying to find a roster and a team that is a good fit with a coach that, wants me to be on the team and wants me to be a part of their organization. So I'm excited to be able to go through that route, and hopefully, this year will be a great one.
Do you feel like oh, sorry, go ahead, Brent.
No, I was just going to talk about the NBA Finals and your thoughts there. I'm from the Bay Area, not a true Golden State fan, more of a Lakers fan. But what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts there?
Yeah, no, they were the best team all year. They were the best team in the regular season. They were the best team in the postseason. They just have so many guys. There's so many guys that they can throw at you, and they shoot the ball so well. If one of them's off, another one's on. They defend really well. They're all like 6'7", 6'8", and athletic. So they just switch everything and keep you in front of you. So they were number one defensive team all year, and they did a great job. And I'd like to point out that LeBron is just unbelievable. What he did with that team was something that I don't think anybody's ever seen before. He brought that team, put him on his back, and just won 2 games and could have easily won that series with a couple close games going either way. So he's an amazing basketball player, but it was a fun series to watch.
Was it surprising that he didn't win the MVP?
It was a little surprising. Yeah, I think that he probably deserved it, but Andre Iguodala was definitely a guy that was a key factor in their winning. If he didn't play as well as he did, they definitely wouldn't have won that series, and he was consistent all series long. So, I'm glad that I'm happy for him that he won it, but I definitely think that LeBron was probably worthy of it too.
Jimmer Fredette is on BYU Sports Nation. Jimmer, the fan base during the season, typically related to you, is saying, "I wish the coach would play him more." From your perspective, do you feel like you've been given a fair look at proving yourself in the league?
I've had opportunities to go out there and play. I haven't gotten the consistent minutes that I've wanted to, every single year in the league. But, sometimes you have to go through those trials to get better and to move forward and make yourself better as a person, as a basketball player, and then move forward and, try to find a right spot. And that's what it's all about. So when I have had opportunities, I feel like I've played pretty well and done some good things. Enough that teams are still interested and still want me to be a part of their roster. But I've learned in the NBA, you just control what you can control. A lot of things you can't control out there, but you can control your attitude and how hard you work every single day. And that's what I do. And, eventually I know it's going to work out. You continue to do the right things. I know it's going to work out. So, I'm excited for a shot and hopefully more consistent playing time.
Jimmer, you're involved in a Stop Bullying campaign. What's involved there for you?
Yeah, it's been great. Our foundation, the Fredette Family Foundation, has been going on for 3 years, a little over 3 years now, and things have been rolling really well. And we started doing this anti-bullying campaign the last couple of years, and kids and families have really latched onto it. It really hits home to a lot of different families in the Utah area and in the upstate New York area, and people all over the country and all over the world experience bullying, and it's something that really can mess up kids' lives and mess up families' lives. and we're just trying to put the awareness out of it to try to get into the school districts and to, try to teach these kids how to have positive peer pressure in schools and to, include everyone in the different activities that they're going to do throughout the day. So, we're trying to spread the word, and we hope to, help as many kids and as many families as we can.
Where did this idea come from? Was it a personal experience, or maybe heard of situation from a family or a friend?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely there's been a lot. I give you examples of both. I mean, I've seen bullying in my lifetime, and we've had a lot of families in the area come to us and talk about how their kid will come home from school, and just feel awful just because he had been bullied that day, and it ruins their lives at home as a family. The kid just wants to hang out in his room by himself, and he doesn't feel good, and then it obviously makes the parents feel awful, and it just really puts a strain on the family. So these kids are going through tough times, and we've had a lot of people come up to us and say, what can we do for this, and how can you help us? So we've tried to put together programs to go into the school district to try to help these kids and help them realize that, what they're doing, what bullying is not cool, and, being a good person and including everyone, that's what's going to make you a good guy and make everyone want to be around you.
Well, that's great, because that is really an issue nowadays, and it's great that you've reached out and tried to make a difference with that.
That is good. Maybe Spencer and Jarom can take some notes from you, man. 'Cause they always bully me. So.
I'm sorry. We'll chat after.
I heard that. So, Jarom, you might need to get into the program, bro.
Yeah, exactly. We'll chat after, Jimmer. Recently, a baseball All-American signee for BYU named Kyle Dean told us that he's playing with the team in Amsterdam, New York, and he said that he's going to be in Glens Falls in July.
Yeah.
Where do you recommend he eats? I know what you're going to say. Besides Angelina's Pizza, which is fantastic, and I've been there twice. Where else should he eat in Glens Falls?
Yeah, I already tweeted him about it.
Nice.
So I told him to go over to Angelina's for sure. I mean, that's the number one spot. You can eat there, lunch, dinner, breakfast, doesn't matter. So, I mean, that's really the only place you need. But there's some other really good places. I'd say you go to Dirty John's Hot Dogs, which is downtown Glens Falls. It's different than J Dogs. J Dogs is like a sweet sauce, and Dirty John's is like a more meat sauce. And it's pretty good. It's called New Way Lunch, actually, but we call it Dirty John's. And so I would tell him to go over there and check that out, too.
Okay. Jimmer, great stuff. We appreciate the time. Good luck with everything you're doing with your foundation. I know you're in town working with kids, and so we appreciate the time, man.
No problem. We'll see you guys a little later, all right?
Okay, thanks, Jimmer.